Dragons, the fiery beasts of legend. These creatures have been throughout folklore, throughout mythology, and throughout history. Every culture has an account of some form of dragon, whether it be the Chinese long of Chinese culture, the wyvern of Western European culture, the amphitheater of Southern American culture, or even the great worms of Mediterranean or Northern American culture. The list goes on and on. Dragons in legend are depicted as frightening creatures, the original boogeyman. Creatures that, well, in all intents and purposes, were capable of absolute destruction, death, ruin, and caused immense fear. The one thing, though, is in popular media today, dragons aren't as scary as they used to be. Intimidating, yes. And as we know, a factor of most villains, as we discussed in one of my previous videos, dragons are intimidating. They have airs of fear. But one thing I noticed while watching Dragon Slayer, the old Disney 1980s movie, is that the dragon in that isn't portrayed as your normal giant fire-breathing dragon like Smaug or dragons like in Game of Thrones. No, he's depicted as something far worse. A monster, a villain, and if anything else, a true horror. Dragons are not often seen in horror. They're often seen as more of a majestic, mythical beast, somewhat fantastical, or even a mystical creature. But what if it was depicted as something horrifying? Something that was so terrible and so dangerous, it was seen as more of like a slasher horror movie killer than just a powerful beast. Today, I want to craft a character. Not just any character, a dragon. I want to base it in some aspects of legend, and also take some of my own inspirations to crafting this character. We'll put him inside the Transcendent worlds, create lore for him, and fit him right at home. And all the while, I will draw a sketch for you of this character. Let us begin. Now, how does one begin crafting a character like this? Well, I usually like to find references. I tend to craft things like a Pinterest board. On my laptop, I tend to craft a ton of boards and sections. If you've ever wondered about if Pinterest itself is a good app to use as a creative writer, a world builder, I would say yes, use Pinterest. There's a couple of pictures I want to show that inspired me personally in crafting the dragon. I was going for a look that was kind of creepy, kind of more thin, wormish, or serpentine in appearance, and as well, I wanted to go for a jagged look. Some of the dragons that inspired me, both in character, personality, and appearance, were some of these. The dragon from the movie Pagemaster certainly inspired me by look and appearance. Those broken horns, the aged look, some of the scales and scarring across the dragon's body, the more thinner and somewhat fat, wormish appearance on its belly and tail, all the way to its face with the, well, fins on the side that make it look otherworldly, the jagged teeth that give it kind of a more creeping look, or creepy look is a better word for it. And as well, I also love the bat-like wings. Unfortunately, for the end result, I was not able to fit that in. However, other dragons that inspired me in terms of lore were dragons like, well, Vermithrax from Dragon Slayer. I like the idea of a dragon holding an entire kingdom hostage, and so I looked into that as well. I looked at pictures in the Dragonology book that I have to look at the appearance and the shaping, the bone structure, and some examples of dragons that are across the world. I also looked into other dragons from lore and media. I liked the look of Vermithrax, especially because it also had kind of a hideous monstrosity-like appearance, with the tendrils kind of hanging from its neck, the fins as well, kind of similar to the dragon from Pagemaster, but also its horns hung back and a little more jagged, or at least having rivets inside of them, and even its eyes having a piercing flaming look. In terms of character, I was looking for dragons that could inspire me, like dragons like Maleficent in both appearance and presence, Smaug as well from The Hobbit. And from these dragons, I came to one conclusion. In order to craft a dragon, you have to take a few principles that make something scary. We looked at the villain's video in terms of intimidation, and there were a couple of things we found. We are afraid of villains for different reasons. Their intelligence, their power, their moral conundrums they bring to us. There are all kinds of different things that make us afraid of villains. So I started to work on the picture. Giving it light sketches and trying to get an idea of the build of the body, I attempted to go in full stride. However, in the midst of doing this, I realized I didn't like what I was making. It had been some time since I had drawn anything. I had taken a break for a while, and now getting back into it, I realize there's a few things I'm going to have to warm up on. It's not going to be a perfect drawing, and it may not be like people like Jazz's art one day, but for now, I'm trying to go for at least bringing the vision to life. There's a lot of other things I wanted to focus on, including crafting the eyes, the horns, fins, what have you, in order to get an idea of what the dragon might look like. To give me at least some references to being able to craft the full picture. And in the midst of crafting the picture, I did end up erasing it. So from here, I'm just going to describe more about our dragon and go into the lore and story that I came up with. Being heavily inspired by the movie Dragon Slayer, I came up with a lot of the lore and story from that inspiration. In realms afar, there lies a kingdom, an old kingdom. It had been around for many centuries, known as Belfast. Belfast was a noble kingdom, a kingdom of great wealth at one point. However, that wealth went dry when it came. Like a great torrent of wind and a powerful roar of a thundering storm, a shadow fell over Belfast. The kingdom went silent and dark, and from it came ruin. The cities were toppled, building after building scorched and burnt, till it was nothing more than a pile of ash. Villagers fled, but were struck down by the claws and mighty power of the beast. From here came forth a powerful devil, a beast with burning eyes, that when stared upon one being would inflict a great madness of fear. He was known as Elvac, the Tormentor. Bursting forth through the castle gates, Elvac tore down the banners, the ivory towers, and came before the feet of the king. Standing tall, erect like a shadowy pillar, the king fell before his knees. The king, pleading for his life, screamed in fear. Elvac, leaning down with his tall, powerful neck, took forth a jester with his gaping maw, and chewed and swallowed. As the scream subsided, the dragon spoke. His voice, powerful and raw, did declare that the kingdom now lay in his claws. "Challenge me," he said, in a wicked tone, "for I will take all of your men and show forth my power, none will be able to stand against my might and my ruin. Elvac fled to a terrible and dark mountain, which was now known the Helm of Death. Elvac's character has a bit of lore that I added as well. Elvac the dragon has the ability to mimic the speech of any creature or being that he devours. As he took forth the jester and swallowed him whole, he could then speak the language of the people in that area. Elvac himself is a wicked and terrible creature. He is the Tormentor, for he does not just kill his prey. For every knight or warrior or great army that would come forth from that day would be forever tormented as they enter into the lair of the dragon. Gold and riches would be given as a way to subside the beast, while at the same time they would give offerings of virgin maidens or virgin men, offered up as a way to subside the hunger, the terror of the wicked beast. His powers of manipulation, of trickery, and even of cruel delight in his laugh and his words add to his already frightening appearance as a massive dragon. This is what I added to his character. And though I do not show everything of me drawing the rest of the picture because I did not like the original draft, I at least want it to be known that this character was a lot of fun to work on. So behold Elvac the Tormentor. There's a lot more to add to this world and this lore, and I liked how I did this video, and I'll probably do it again. So thank you all for watching this video of character creation in the Transcendent worlds. There are many characters I've already made in the Transcendent worlds, but if you have a particular kind of character you want me to talk about, create, or discuss, please leave a comment down below. The Transcendent worlds is growing, and with it, evil villains even like Elvac are coming forth. We'll continue this story and the hero who will bravely mount a strike against him. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please take a look at my video on discussing villains like Elvac and other characters throughout fiction who have made a great effect of fear upon us all. Thank you for watching, and as always, the mysterious stranger will see you on the other side of the gates.